Wait, dodging isn't just a monk thing? Welcome to this episode of Actions in Combat. The dodge action is really straightforward. You spend your action prepping for your opponent's strikes. This allows you to be more nimble, therefore your opponents have disadvantage against attacking you. This is useful more for escapades. There are a lot of enemies that are overwhelming you. You want to get out there, but maybe not provoke. Now, this is often seen with the monk's patient defense ability, which allows them to spend a key point to dodge as a bonus action. This, of course, is really great because there's not a whole lot of cases where you want to spend your entire action dodging. There is definitely cases where dodging can be very advantageous. Say you're a wizard and you're concentrating on some sort of big spell. It wouldn't be that advantageous to cast another spell, as maybe a lot of use of concentration, or it would disperse some sort of charm, or whatnot. It's a great option to dodge to make sure you don't get hit and lose that concentration for a very important spell, of course. This is one of the biggest things, and why, as a monk, it allows more martial classes to have that ability to dodge. Since, as a non-monk, you're going to be more effective hitting things, or if you're getting out of there, disengaging or dashing, than dodging. Because dodging doesn't get you out of the fray. It's just going to keep you in there, but make it less likely to get hit. This is useful also if you're a character who can't necessarily leave the fray, but is very injured and might not be very effective in combat because you're a caster or whatnot. You can dodge because intelligently, the DM would know that attacking you is, of course, going to be less effective. This is a great way to survive, as you're going to disperse sort of the damage dealt throughout. Now, one of the best cases for this is when you're in a situation where you become the one that are targeted for an attack. Say, maybe you use the fainting attack as a fighter or something, and or some other method of making it so that all attacks on players other than you have disadvantage. And then, while that effect is on, you dodge so that attacks on you have disadvantage, and, while they're focusing on whoever, the others can do their thing and deal lots of damage while avoiding taking damage themselves. Or if you're in some kind of narrow hallway where you're the fighter and you're up front, you're a tank, so you can take the damage, especially if you're a barbarian, and you choose to dodge. This way, the enemies have to attack you because you're lined up in a way that they can't hit anyone else. Meanwhile, the casters can do their thing and deal damage while they're stuck trying to fight the fighter. Now, this is a niche scenario, but it allows you to think. Normally, if you're in a case where you're down a hallway, you just hack and just make it so that it just be the same scenario, except less effective, of course, because less melee fighters can deal damage, and so on and so on and so on. But in this way, it acts as this barrier that only inhibits the enemy and not you. So in that sort of cases, it's great to be aware of those other actions, because you can do cool stuff like just annoy the heck out of your enemies by dodging, but they're forced to attack you. So that's always fun. And as a monk, it's even more useful because if there's a lot of enemies, you can just always use your bonus action to dodge. Again, dodging is often clearly a defensive option. If you're going down on the opponents and you're going to defeat them, dodging is not the best way thing to do because you just want to finish them off. But you know, when you're escaping, one of the best options is dodging as an action and then provoking a bunch of opportunity attacks. This makes the opponents use up their reactions, so your characters who maybe don't have enough hit points to survive opportunity attacks now are open in a place where they don't have to spend their action disengaging and can dash away without being injured. Dodging also can be great as a fallback. Say you're having some sort of negotiations, you're not quite sure you're going to go well, but you don't want to do anything hostile. Say you're not the character who's mainly involved in the social part, but can analyze the enemies and, you know, just keep dodging as an action, preparing for any attacks. That way, if they end up striking on you, you're prepared. Also, of course, it doesn't hurt if you have that free action to take it to dodge in certain scenarios. Like you're a sorcerer and you choose to quick spell a spell, leaving your action open, use that to dodge. You have a spell that costs a bonus action for some other reason, or effect that's a bonus action, you can dodge as an action, especially as your action as a caster, without having spells available, is certainly not that effective. As a cleric who has spiritual weapon active, you can just keep dodging as an action, and fire away that spiritual weapon. There are lots of useful implementations when your action would not necessarily be as effective. Go for the smart play. You know, it's not always the best option to strike because you don't have anything better to do, because you do. You can stay alive. So, as a whole, dodging is not something you want to just take or do, because there could be better options if you're in an aggressive play. But in the right scenario, instead of just defaulting to a more combative action or something that might not be as useful as a whole, why not try dodging? Thank you. And let me know of any cool experiences any of you might have had with the dodge action, and if I might have messed up on any of the rules. Thank you, and this is Sean from Dodec Dungeon signing off. Another episode of Actions in Combat.